Welcome to Week 7 of the Mercer County Football Show, presented by the St. Francis Medical Center, your heart hospital in the city of Trenton, with Rich Fisher of the Trentonian. I am Sean Lerman, and we are rolling along here in Mercer County, and apparently there are some concerns about the show.
Yeah, my my friend who I went to high school with, and this will give you the idea of what a Steinert education does for you. He watched the show for the first time, and he noticed the St. Francis banner, and he said, I just have one question. Are you guys wearing pants behind there? So I just want to let everyone know we are indeed wearing pants. So
most of the time.
Yeah, most of the time, yes. So don't let my friend get into your head. It's all on the up and up here. So I just wanted to clear the air with that, so there, in case anybody else had that worry.
I mean, it'd be irresponsible to not wear pants. It's getting cold out. You can catch a cold. It'd be silly to not wear pants.
Doctor's orders.
But as I said, we are rolling along here in Mercer County. We have a couple more games coming up for you on the WBCB Sports Network this weekend. On Friday, we'll go live at 6:45 p.m. Tom Monfiletto has the call as Hopewell Valley will host Ewing. That game will be on 107.7 FM The Bronx and online at 1077thebronx.com. We'll come back on Saturday, a 1 p.m. kickoff, 12:45 airtime on 1490 AM WBCB and WBCB1490.com. It will be Trenton at Nottingham in that game, so that should be a good one as well. A lot of big games this weekend, but first we'll take a look at some of the big games from this past weekend.
Yeah, Sean, let's start with the game you and I did, the Steiner-Nottingham game, because that was, Steiner's defense was just outstanding in that game. And the thing was, Nottingham's defense played very well. They played good. Steiner's defense played great. Steiner's defense is really starting to establish itself. I mean, for the second straight week, they nullified a big runner. They shut down Rory Hellstrom 2 weeks ago from Princeton. They contained Ben Fair to where he had a little over 80 yards, but I don't think he had a run over 6 yards, did he? 6-7 yards, and
No, he didn't bust any big ones.
No, Ben Fair's one of those guys that can break out. So they've done a really good job, and we actually said on the air, we think that they have the ability to crowd the box a little bit because they have so much faith in their defensive backs to get out there in one-on-one coverage. And I talked to Stephen Mattici after the game, and he verified that. He goes, we have so much faith in those DBs that we think we can just do what we have to do and worry about getting the ball carrier. So, Steiner, I think it might be time to say Steiner's for real.
I would say so.
Yeah, and Nottingham, well, they hung in, but their defense kept them in. They played a great defensive game, 8 sacks, but they just couldn't get anything going on offense at all.
Yeah, that's what it was for them. I mean, the defense did play outstanding. The only touchdown they allowed, Steiner got the ball at the 22-yard line.
Yeah.
And at that point, you can only ask so much out of your defense. And other than that, they allowed a field goal because they had one drive where they let Steiner get down the field towards the end of the first half. But
yeah. And
Nottingham's defense was great.
And Nottingham's was. And, Nottingham's offense never got in Steiner's end of the field just one time.
Right.
And that was on the interception return. But if you remember, they got an interception return for like 20-some yards. That set them up in Steiner territory. Other than that, the offense never could drive into Steiner's territory. So that's really a tribute to the defense that Steiner played. Another game that was interesting is every week they're building steam. Robbinsville and Riverside,
right.
3 in a row for the Ravens.
2 on the road.
2 on the road. They continue to reap the benefits of last year's growing pains that they had. They took a 20-0 win over Riverside, which defeated them by 22 points last year. Elijah McNeil, another big game, his third straight plus 100-yard game. He went for 137 and 2 TDs. Andrew Armando sprinkled in some passes, 6 for 12, 58 yards and a touchdown. But again, the story of this game, Robbinsville's defense, shutting down the first shutout for the Ravens defense since October 30th, 2011, in a 14-0 win over Clayton. So this team is really playing with a lot of confidence right now, and they're going to need it this week, and we'll discuss that in a little bit. Another interesting game was Notre Dame at West Windsor North. We're discussing defenses. Notre Dame takes a 41-0 victory, shuts out a West Windsor North team that in its previous 3 games had scored, I don't know, over 100 points in the previous 3 games. And the Irish, they scored 148 points in their previous 4 games. I'm sorry. So Notre Dame's defense outscored West Windsor 14-0. Isaiah Hill returned an interception 92 yards for Notre Dame's first touchdown. Damian Hall recovered a fumble in the end zone for their last touchdown. He'll rush for 2 TDs. Alex Roman, his usual game, rushed for 158 yards and 2 TDs, and I'm sure racked up a lot of tackles on that defense. So it was a 4th win in 5 games for the Irish. It was the 3rd time this season they scored over 40 points, and it was the 2nd shutout for their defense. So I think we can say that the Irish is a team that's legitimate right now as well.
I would certainly say so. We're starting to get an idea of who the really, really good teams are. There's still kind of a little confusion among the teams that we're not so sure of yet, but
Right.
I think we can see who the really good teams are. And Notre Dame, it seems like, is one of them. The other ones, I would say probably Steiner you could put in there, and Hopewell Valley.
Yeah, Hopewell for sure. And maybe Trenton.
Yeah.
I mean, Trenton, that's the one other game we want to talk about from last week before you give the rest of the scores.
Sure.
Is a 4th team getting a shutout last week. Trenton shut out Hamilton 28-0. That was the most one-sided win of the year for Trenton. Their previous 3 wins were by an average of 6 points, and their losses were pretty close, except for a second-half meltdown against Lenape. Trenton limited Hamilton to under 100 yards of total offense. Hamilton only rushed for 47 and passed for 52. But one thing that Tom Hoagland said after the game, the Hamilton coach, was this was... they got beat 40-0 by Notre Dame, and that game was just a complete meltdown. The sideline was a mess. The guys were yelling at each other and everything else. Hoagland was happy the way Hamilton stuck together and played hard in the second half, and even when they were down 28-0, they hung in there, and he saw a big attitude change. So if Hamilton's looking for a positive, that's it for there. So what do you got for the rest of the scores there, buddy?
Rest of the scores from this past week, Hopewell Valley, as we mentioned, they are really rolling along now. 5-1 on the season after a 49-7 road win over Delran. The Allentown Redbirds got back to 500 on the year with a 38-8 win over Heightstown. West Windsor Plainsboro South fell to 0-6 on the year with a 35-6 home loss to Ewing. The Princeton Tigers fell to 2-4 on the year with a 46-21 loss to Winslow Township. As we mentioned, Heightstown fell to West Windsor North. The Lawrence Cardinals now 0-6 on the year after a 56-28 road loss to Cinnaminson. So those are your other scores from around Mercer County this past weekend. We'll step aside, take a quick break, and we'll have more of the Mercer County Football Show after this. Here presented by the St. Francis Medical Center, your heart hospital in the city of Trenton. Back after this.
Discover the dealer for the people, Haldeman Ford Subaru, Route 33 in Hamilton Township. One of the region's finest state-of-the-art service facilities for all makes and models. A service facility so good, local school districts get their buses serviced at Haldeman. Police fleets, local municipalities get their cars and trucks serviced at Haldeman. From oil changes to tire sales, Haldeman Ford services all makes and models, and they offer tires for just $10 over cost on name brand tires like Goodyear and Pirelli, and their waiting room offers complimentary food, and there's a special Wi-Fi room available for your use. So no matter where you purchase your car, get it serviced at Haldeman Ford, the dealership for the people on Route 33 in Hamilton Township. I'm Merrill Reese to tell you about our good friends at the Revere Ristorante Italiano in nearby Ewing Township at 802 River Road. I can tell you that from South Philadelphia to New York's Mulberry Street, there's no better Italian cuisine than that served at the Revere. Start your meal with one of their great appetizers or salads. Entrees include outstanding veal dishes, fresh seafood daily, excellent steaks and chops, homemade pasta dishes, daily specials, and much more. You can also enjoy their bar area, where on most weekends, entertainment is offered. The Revere also does off-premise catering and can accommodate private parties for any affair, including business functions. Call the Revere Ristorante Italiano for more information and reservations at 609-882-6365. 882-6365. The Revere Ristorante Italiano open Monday through Friday for lunch and 7 days for dinner at 802 River Road, right off the Wilbertha Road exit on Route 29 in nearby Ewing Township.
Welcome back to the Mercer County Football Show, presented by Fish4Scores.com. That's fish4scores.com. Also on Twitter at Fish4Scores. And Rich, a lot that goes on in Hamilton Township, other than just football, though. We had the big Steiner-Nottingham matchup that we talked about, but the soccer team's also doing well in Hamilton.
Well, you nailed it, Sean. Yesterday, Steinert High School, the girls defeated Notre Dame 1-0 for the first time in 4 years, and claimed a Co-Valley Division championship along with Heightstown. The boys defeated Notre Dame 2-0 and won the Valley Division title outright. So congratulations to both Steinert soccer teams. They joined the girls cross country team as Valley Division champions. So some good stuff going on in Steinert this year.
All right, and again, you can read all about that at fish4scores.com, fish4scores.com. And now we're going to debut a new segment here on the Mercer County Football Show. We're going to give this a shot. Rich and I, each on our own, came up with a player of the week and a team of the week from this past weekend of Mercer County High School football. So I guess I'll go first.
Cue the music. Right. Do we cue the music? Dun, 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 dun. Get NFL films in
there.
There
We go. That'll work. So I'll start with my player of the week, and I'm going to go with Isaiah Hill from Notre Dame. Had a very big week, 3 touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, and had a 92-yard interception return for a touchdown. So making big plays on both sides of the ball as the Irish got another big win. He was part of an offense that scored 41 points and a defense that, as you mentioned, held a high-powered North offense to completely scoreless. So I'll go with Isaiah Hill as my player of the week.
Excellent choice.
In Mercer County. And then who's your player of the week?
My player of the week is going to be Joey Immordino from Hopewell Valley High School. Well, Joey rushed for 231 yards and 3 touchdowns and continues to be outstanding for the Bulldogs. So congratulations to Isaiah Hill and Joey Immordino.
Certainly a great job by both of them this week. And now for the team of the week, I'm going to go with Steinert in this one. They've won 3 games in a row. They're now 4-1 on the season, already doubling their win total from last year. They won the Battle of Clockner Road over Nottingham this week. A great job by Steinert all around, so they're my team of the week.
All right, and I will go with the Ravens of Robbinsville, 3 in a row, and I forgot to look this up. I don't even know when the last time Robbinsville's won 3 straight. But they went down there. They got a shutout on the road after an 0-3 start. Things are good in Robbinsville right now. They're happy. Practices are going energetic, and keep it up, Ravens.
Yeah, I had them as my team of the week, but then I thought that you might put them as your team of the week. So
we like to spread the joy around here.
So there it is, your players of the week, teams of the week here on the Mercer County Football Show. And now we'll get into the couple games that we have coming up on the WBCB Sports Network this weekend. On Friday at 6:45, we'll have Ewing at Hopewell Valley on 107.7 FM The Bronx, online at 107.7thebronx.com. Tom Monfiletto will have the call of that one. And these are 2 teams, Hopewell Valley really rolling, but Ewing's been pretty good this season too.
Let me tell you something, Sean. This could very well be the game of the week. Ewing is 4-2, 2-1 in the Patriot Division. Hopewell is 5-1, 2-1. So this has division ramifications, as do all games this week. Ewing is rolling. Ewing has 3 straight wins. Last week, the Devils' offense, they showed they're more than just quarterback and Damian Doggett. 4 different guys scored touchdowns, with one coming on a dogged pass. Dasmere Harper, Raekwon Smalley, and Kyrie Turner all rushed for touchdowns. Justin Reed caught a touchdown pass, and Kyrie Turner also returned an interception, 57 yards. Doggett still made his presence felt. He rushed for 107, threw for 118, so he'll definitely be on the Bulldogs' radar. But Ewing is really starting to figure it out right now, and their defense has been pretty good most of the year. And they actually, this was their first breather since their opening game against Lawrence. It's the first game where they've had the final score of more than 7 points, the final margin more than 7. Hopewell, what can you say? I mean, they're just continuing to roll since their opening day loss to Burlington Township. We've mentioned Immordino. He led a ground game that amassed 421 yards on 31 carries. That's 14 yards a carry for the team. Hopewell only threw the ball 3 times, as their offensive line has really won the war in the trenches this year. Bulldogs are on a 5-game winning streak. They've won those games by an average of 24.5 points a game. Their only test has come toward Notre Dame. So you're talking about a Hopewell team that's been really consistent this year against a Ewing team that's really taken off. And their neighboring towns, their Babe Ruth leagues united for district playoffs and everything. So kids know each other from these towns. You'll see a lot of people that live in Hopewell are from Ewing and that sort of thing. So this is going to be a fun one. It really is.
So that one will be again Friday night at 6:45. We'll go live at the Trentonian pregame show for Ewing at Hopewell Valley on 107.7 FM The Bronx, 107.7thebronx.com, and on the Bronx free Android and iPhone apps. Search WRRC1 and WRRC2 in the Android and Apple iPhone stores. We'll come back on Saturday with Trenton at Nottingham on 1490 AM WBCB and WBCB1490.com. Kickoff set for 1 p.m. With the Trentonian pregame show beginning at 12:45. Chris Ermer will be on the call of that game. Along with you, Rich Fisher will be out there. And we said last week that anytime that the four schools of Trenton, Nottingham, Steinert, and Hamilton are all in action against each other, it's always good. It's always a great battle, and I think we'll have another one on Saturday.
Trenton, Nottingham, yeah, a lot of these kids know each other, and there really isn't much. You know, it's kind of funny. They call Steinert Nottingham the Battle of Clockner Road. Well, technically, Trenton is located on Chamber Street in Trenton, but one side of it is on Hamilton Avenue, as is one side of Nottingham.
Right.
So this could be the Battle of Hamilton Avenue if you really want to get, name worthy.
I think that seems fair.
But a funny story about Trenton and Nottingham. Back when Nottingham opened their school in 1982, I think, 82, 83, Trenton's track team used to run to Nottingham for their meets. They would run up Greenwood Avenue or Hamilton Avenue, and the North Stars would be out there doing their warm-ups. All of a sudden, Trenton would just come running in. They go, "Where's your bus?" They go, "We ran here." So,
that's funny.
Yeah, so it's pretty
Good
cool
warm-up.
history. Yeah, pretty cool history with these two. I'll tell you right now, this is the last team Nottingham needs to see right now. Nottingham's really, they're struggling. They've lost 3 in a row. Their offense did very little against Steinert last week. Trenton's defense, as we said, shut out Hamilton. Well, we didn't say that yet, but they shut out Hamilton. Their defense has been consistent their entire year. Mohammed El-Shabini said that's been their bread and butter this year is their defense. John Adams said after the Steinert loss last week that there's going to be some changes, more changes at Nottingham. He's really just frustrated with the way his offense is failing to perform. They've been shut out now 2 games in a row at Rancocas Valley and at Nottingham and against Steinert. So and Trenton's just got to keep doing what they're doing. They're grinding away. They're winning games that they have to win. They've beaten the teams they should beat. Their 2 losses are to Notre Dame and to Lenape, which are the 2 best teams that they've played. So Trenton's just got to keep it moving, and they're in pretty good shape in this first year with Mohammed El-Shabini.
Yeah, they had a nice game last week. They really spread the ball around. I was talking to Chris Ermer earlier, who did that Trenton game against Hamilton last week, and I saw a 28-0 game, so I thought, maybe there's a player of the week from that game. I'll talk to Chris. And he said there wasn't any one player that did everything. Sure enough, when I looked at the stats online, there was nobody that jumped out as a single individual player that dominated the game. It was spread out very well, and I think that says a lot for what they can do offensively.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, they like to use a lot of people. They really do, and that can help not only as a game goes on, but as a season goes on. You keep these guys fresher and everything like that.
This is the Mercer County Football Show presented by the St. Francis Medical Center, your heart hospital in the city of Trenton. Rich Fisher and I will be back in just a couple of moments. We'll talk about the other games going on here in Mercer County this weekend.
Jerry Blavitt here to tell you about St. Francis Medical Center, the heart hospital in the city of Trenton. St. Francis Medical Center is one of the region's top cardiac care centers, serving all of Mercer, Bucks, and Burlington counties. Their staff of highly trained physicians provide state-of-the-art heart care to patients with cardiovascular disease and pride themselves as being the only regional heart center to offer a full spectrum of individualized services. And Consumer Report ranks St. Francis Medical Center in the top 10 hospitals in New Jersey for safety, and the #1 hospital in Mercer County, St. Francis Medical Center, the Heart Hospital.
Don't forget, if you miss any of your local high school sports action, you can read all about it in tomorrow's edition of the Trentonian. For your complete local and national news 7 days a week, it's the Trentonian, or online at thetrentonian.com. The only newspaper serving Bucks, Burlington, and Mercer County 7 days a week, it's the Trentonian.
Welcome back to the Mercer County Football Show, presented by the St. Francis Medical Center, your heart hospital in the city of Trenton. With the Trentonians' Rich Fisher, I'm Sean Lerman, and we look forward to another exciting weekend in Mercer County football. We mentioned that the games on the WBCB Sports Network this weekend, Friday at 6:45, Ewing at Hopewell Valley on 107.7 The Bronx, and Saturday at 12:45 p.m., it is Trenton at Nottingham on 1490 AM WBCB and WBCB1490.com. We'll look ahead now to the other games from this weekend. A lot of games on Friday night. It seems like all the Friday night teams are hosting this week.
Right.
So on Friday, we have Steinert at Hightstown, Hamilton at West Windsor Plainsboro North, Lenape at Notre Dame, Princeton at West Windsor Plainsboro South, and Pemberton at Robbinsville. We'll come back on Saturday with Allentown at Rancocas Valley and Northern Burlington at Lawrence. So a busy Friday night coming up in Mercer County, but a lot of interesting games this week.
Yeah, Sean, let's whip through these real quick. We got Hamilton, they're 2-3 overall, 2-0 in the Valley Division. West Windsor North 2-4, 2-1. This promises to be an interesting game. I know Hamilton probably saw tape on what Notre Dame did against the Northern Knights, so they'll try to replicate some of that defensively. Hamilton's defense didn't play bad against Trenton. They only allowed 170, well, not only, but it allowed 177 rushing yards, just 13 yards passing. The biggest thing in that game was Trenton had great field position all game, and Hamilton just couldn't, hold on all the time. It'll be a big test for the Hornets against West Windsor North. We know they have the ability to light up the scoreboard with C.J. Marquis running the ball, and the combination of Malik Thompson throwing it and receiver John Owens. And we got to apologize. We forgot to mention John Owens last week for West Windsor North. He caught 4 touchdowns from Thompson and had an interception return for 59 yards the previous week. So if we were doing a player of the week last week, you would have been it, Mr. Thompson.
Yeah, I'd say
or
so.
Mr. Owens. And this is also a big game for the Valley Division because Hamilton and Steiner are both 2-0 and West Windsor is 2-1. So the Knights need this to stay in the race, and Hamilton needs it just to stay in at least a tie for Steiner, depending on what the Spartans do. Pemberton at Robbinsville. Pemberton, this is going to be a big one for Robbinsville. Pemberton 5-0, 3-0 in the Liberty. Robbinsville 3-3, 1-2. This is where the Ravens find out just where they stand as a team. Pemberton's taking on all comers without a loss. The Ravens are going to try to run the ball. I actually spoke to Andrew Patterson, the head coach, last night, and he said Robbinsville came into this year wanting to be a 50-50 team pass run, but their line has shown such a penchant for run blocking so well that they've been going with the run a lot. So that'll probably be what the Ravens will try to do against a very tough Pemberton defense. I said one of the things I said to Patterson was, they've got some big offensive weapons, and he said to me, so did Riverside, so did a lot of teams we faced. So there you go, Sean. I mean, Robbinsville's not feeling intimidation, and they've out-physicaled every team they've played so far, according to their coach.
Yeah, it seems like they've got a little bit of confidence. That's good.
Yeah.
And they should. They've won 3 games in a row.
Sure they should. Now, if Ewing and Hopewell isn't the game of the week, this one is Lenape at Notre Dame. I mean, you got Lenape's 4-1, 3-0 Colonial. Notre Dame's 4-2, 2-1 in the Colonial. Notre Dame is, well, first let's talk about Lenape. They're coming off their first loss of the year to an excellent Cherokee team, 21-0. So how good is Cherokee? Because we've seen how good Lenape is. Notre Dame is coming off its big win over North, so they're feeling good about themselves. Notre Dame will try to continue to have that balance that they've had. I actually talked to Xavier Lazinski yesterday, the quarterback, too, and he said Notre Dame is really looking forward to this game. It's kind of a test for them. And I asked him about his toe that he had injured, and he said it's fine, but he's got to wear some cumbersome brace, so that's been driving him nuts. But he said it's for precaution, so he has to do it.
I think this is a big one for Notre Dame because their last real test came in week 4 when they played Hopewell Valley. They lost that one. This is probably their next big test on the schedule.
And they lost that without Lazinski. And
right.
This is one of these games where the big-time players are going to have to the big-time players make plays in big-time games. So Lazinski, Alex Roman, Jake Lieka, Isaiah Hill, those guys have to stand out. Lenape will have Joe Kellum, Ryan Schutz, Bryce Long, and their big defensive stud, Rick Motrum, who can blow things up. So those are the guys you want to look at to really step up in this kind of high-profile game. Steinert at Hightstown. Steinert's off to its best start since 2011, but they're still not getting ahead of themselves. I talked to Jordan Morrison after the win last week, and I said, you're getting a lot more confidence. He goes, we're just focusing on getting better each week. And the interesting thing was, he didn't say it like he was programmed to say it like most of these guys. He kind of said it like that's what he meant. And so I really doubt they're going to look past any team, no matter who. They haven't had a lot of wins in the last couple of years, so every win is still special for them. And throw in the fact that they're leading the Valley with with Hamilton. They're 4-1 and 2-0 in the Valley. Hightstown's 2-4, 2-1. So Hightstown too would like to get a win and keep themselves in the race for the Valley Division title. Hightstown's got to turn things around though. They were 2-0. But a loss to Robbinsville has them on a 3-game losing streak. They really need to shore up their defense. They've given up 82 points in the last 2 games, and that's really going to be a challenge when you're going against Morrison, Alex Rubio, and Kyle Muller. So, Allentown at Rancocas Valley, another big one. Allentown 3-3, 1-2 in the Colonial. RV 2-3 and 1-2. The Redbirds snapped their 2-game losing streak last week with a 38-8 win over Hightstown. And they did it without 5 players in the lineup, including their offensive studs, Jordan Winston and Joe Menino, who I think are going to be back this week. Rancocas Valley seems to have found its footing. They took a big win over Nottingham 2 weeks ago and then had a bye. And one thing that bodes well for the Redbirds is that Rancocas Valley has really given up a lot of points in some games before they shut out Nottingham. And Allentown's really shown they can put up big numbers. With those 2 guys out last week, Brett Maskey and Sadiq Queen each rushed for over 100 yards, and Ricky Mottram ran for 80 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, that's pretty good depth right there, Sean.
I'd say so.
Yeah,
when you can go that deep, guys running for 80+ yards, that's pretty good.
Yeah, Princeton 2-4, 0-3 in the Valley. At West Windsor South 0-6, 0-3. This is a game where 2 teams are both looking for something good to happen. West Windsor's obviously had a tough season, looking for its first win. Princeton's dropped 2 in a row and probably won't be going back to the playoffs after making it last year. Little Tigers had a 21-18 lead last week against Winslow, but they gave up a touchdown to end the first half. Fumbled a punt attempt in the second half right away, and the Eagles scored. So that kind of went downhill from there. Both teams are looking for their first Valley win, so that'll be good. And then finally, to wrap it up, we have Northern Burlington at Lawrence. Northern's 2-3, 1-2 in the Patriot. Lawrence 0-6, 0-3. The Cardinals are struggling, but if there was a bright spot last week, they scored a season-high 28 points. Devon Hemingway caught a touchdown pass, rushed for a touchdown, and scored a touchdown on an 80-yard interception return. So maybe that's something the Cardinals can build on this week, Sean. We'll see.
And when you're 0-6, that's what you're looking for. Things you can build on, and we'll see what they can do moving forward. Before we wrap things up here, we've got some PowerPoint information for you. It's amazing. We're already in week 7 of the season, but we're getting down towards the end.
Yes, we are. So, PowerPoints are now important. We didn't want to worry about them early in the season, but now it's getting down to crunch time. It's the top 8 teams in their group. How many after 8 games, what their PowerPoints are after 8 games. So right now, we will run through it real quick for teams that have a chance. Central Jersey 2, Robbinsville is 9th, 1 spot out of qualifying with 44 points. They're 2 points out of 8th place, 3 points out of 7th. Central Jersey 3, Hopewell is 3rd with 75 points. Ewing is 7th with 50. Hamilton, I don't know, it might be too late. They're 12th with 33, but I just figure I'd throw them in there. Central Jersey 4, Allentown is 4th with 63. Steinert is 5th with 61, but interesting, Steinert's only played 5 games, 1 less than all 4 teams in front of them, so they can really pick up some points with that game in hand. Nottingham is 9th with 39, so despite their tough start, they're still right there in it. Central Jersey 5, Trenton's a solid 3rd place with 73. North Jersey 2, Group 4, which is weird to say, but this is the first time Princeton and the West Windsors are up there, yeah. But it's just weird because Princeton and West Windsor have always been in Central Jersey, but right now they're in North Jersey, and they're 10th and 11th respectively, so they could be having trouble. Non-public Group 4, Notre Dame is 6th with 75 points. So those are the teams that are still have a shot that we're looking for to be playing down the line in the playoffs.
There you go. This is the Mercer County Football Show. Again, the games this weekend, Friday at 6:45 on 107.7 The Bronx, Ewing at Hopewell Valley, and Saturday at 12:45 on 1490 WBCB. It is Trenton at Nottingham. He's Rich Fisher. I'm Sean Lerman, and this has been Week 7 of the Mercer County Football Show. We'll see you next week.
And to repeat, we're both wearing pants.